So you're thinking of moving to San Antonio, Texas. In this video, we're going to go through some of the pros and cons of living in our beautiful San Antonio, Texas city. We're going to show you some of the good, the bad, maybe even some of the ugly, and some of the great things that are going on here in San Antonio, Texas. So, if you're new to this channel, please click the subscribe button, click the like video, send us a text, send us an email, give us a call on the phone. We're here for you. And we look forward to welcoming you to San Antonio, Texas in the next 9 days or 90 days. Doesn't matter. And we're getting after it right now. Now we're going to get started with the cons of living here in San Antonio, Texas. And yes, there are a few. And we're going to start with the number one complaint, and that is the allergies. I've been very fortunate. I've been in San Antonio 23 years and have none. But the others I've worked with and seen and clients seem to struggle with some of the allergies that are here. Our most prevalent is the mountain cedar. We've got an overabundance of cedar trees to go with our oak trees, and we have oak pollen and the cedar pollen, and that really gets to a lot of people. It stuffs them up. They have runny noses, watery eyes, irritation. So it's not very pretty, but I can tell you this. Many of them are on Claritin, and they're on some sort of a nasal spray. One is Flonase. Seems to work very, very well for the people here, new and existing here in San Antonio, Texas. So number one would be allergies. And the next con in San Antonio, Texas, unfortunately, would be traffic. Now, if you're coming from one of the larger cities in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, you're probably going to think we're just complaining, that our traffic is not that bad. If you've sat in traffic for an hour or 2 hours waiting to get to your destination, I can promise you that won't happen in San Antonio. Most people, if they're smart, will leave about 20 minutes early to their planned arrival time, and that should take care of any of the traffic problems that you may run into. There is an abundance of construction. Our city is growing and growing rapidly as we welcome people from out of state every single day. So if you're looking to come and have peace with the traffic and you're coming from out of state, you may think that we're just a bunch of complainers. And that's just fine. We can accept that. I don't complain about the traffic. It gives you time to listen to a book on tape, listen to the radio, sing your favorite songs, just knock yourself out, but just relax. You're not going anywhere, so sit there and enjoy it. The road construction is going to continue. We have 2 loops in San Antonio. The 410 loop wraps around our downtown area and is the inner loop. Highway 1604 is the outer loop and gets us from the northwest area to the northern area, north central area of town, to the Converse area, and on up I-35 to Cibolo, Schertz, and New Braunfels. It's a great, great way to move the traffic, and it does move really well. We're now expanding from 2 lanes to 4 lanes in each direction, which is certainly going to help. Once you get off of Highway 1604, you may look to get on Highway 281, either headed downtown or headed out to the hill country and some of the other areas you've seen in our videos. If you wind up on 281, that has been a long-standing construction. The project on 281 has lasted for the last 7 or 8 years. It's been a massive expansion, but I'm going to tell you something. Our interchanges here in Texas are beautiful. Every one of them is stamped with the Texas Star. So if you're coming from out of state, you might want to get a little Texas pride before you get here, because it is everywhere. That may help you as you're sitting in traffic waiting for the construction crews to move the traffic right on through. So again, if you'll leave just about 20 minutes early to your destination. Also, another tip would be fire up your Google Maps, turn on your GPS. It will tell you when you're going to arrive, and before you leave, just kind of look at it. That will help in your planning, and it will ease the stress of sitting in traffic when you know you're going to get to your destination on time. And our third con in San Antonio, Texas, is we don't have a beach. Now that may seem kind of crazy to some of you coming in from the East Coast or the West Coast, but we don't have a beach. We have beaches on our lake at Canyon Lake. You're certainly welcome to go up there and enjoy a great day of boating and water activities, or go and float down the Guadalupe River is one of the more popular things to do in the summer. But we're not going to the beach the way that you think of beaches on the East and West Coast. Our closest real beach would be that on the Gulf Coast down in Port Aransas in the Corpus Christi area. You're looking at about 3 hours to get down there on a normal day. And when you get down there, you're going to experience some of the beach activity. It's not going to be 8-foot waves. You're probably not going to be surfing, but you can walk along the sandy beaches. You can take your car down there. If you've got a four-wheeler, they're up and down the beach. You can set up your covering there on the beach, enjoy a great picnic, take your fishing pole out there and do a little fishing right from the shore. If you'd like, you can certainly get out on an excursion and go out on one of the fishing boats and catch some very nice fish out there, bring them back for a barbecue, grill outside, or just put them in the freezer and head home. So, again, no beaches here. I would say that's a con. Our fourth con here in San Antonio would certainly be the weather. Now, it can be plenty hot during the summer. Many people have pools. You may want to look at neighborhoods that have pools and community pools in the neighborhood as part of your HOA fees. That can be a nice way to cool off in the summer. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, if you're looking at floating down the Guadalupe River, that is a very enjoyable experience. Rent yourself an inner tube, take one of the buses down there, drop your inner tube in the river and just coast on down. Bring your favorite beverages in an ice chest, grab another inner tube, string them together, and have a great day. Because the summers here are hot, and they're humid too. So if you come from a drier climate, you're probably going to struggle with the humidity for some time. It does cool off some at night, and that gives us some reprieve. But I'll tell you what they tell me. You think this is bad here in San Antonio. It's not nearly as bad as it is in Houston. And here's what I tell them. We're not in Houston either. So when it's hot here, it's hot. The other thing is we'll get a blast or 2 or 3 of very cold weather in the wintertime. We had a snowstorm a couple of years ago that knocked out the power, and people were struggling to stay warm. Fireplaces were running overtime, and people with generators were housing people that weren't. So it was really a mess. But that was a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence, and this year it has got cold. We will get a couple of blasts from the Arctic area, if you can believe that, but it does cool off to the low 30s and it will freeze. It's not uncommon to have a few nights in the 20s and not warm up to 40 degrees during the day. So it can be a little bit rough for a short period of time in the winter. We also have ice storms here where the roads will freeze if we get a little rain. Temperature drops at night, the roads freeze, the overpasses freeze, and the on-ramps freeze, and that can contribute to some real traffic headaches on your morning commute. Sometimes they actually do shut most of the city down. People stay home, and after COVID, of course, we're working more and more from home as it is. So if you have the city or your place of employment tell you not to come in, listen up. Stay home, work from home, sit by the fire, and just take it one day at a time. It's certainly going to end, and you're going to remember those cooler days when we get to the hot summer days of San Antonio. Now also with that weather, we're going to see temperatures of right around 100 degrees to about 105 during the summer. And as I mentioned earlier, the temperatures in the low 30s to the 20s are not uncommon in parts of winter. But as we've seen recently, it's not uncommon also to have an 80-degree Sunday, followed by a 40-degree Monday and a 30-degree Tuesday. So don't be surprised when you see this erratic weather. And remember, there's no mountains between San Antonio and the northern U.S. border. All the way up there, we don't have anything to stop that cold weather. When it comes down from Canada, we're going to get it. It may be 2, 3, 4, or 5 days, but we'll get it. And it'll be cold, and then the warm air will blow in, and it'll warm right back up. It's also not uncommon to have plenty of 70-degree days in the winter. Now that part's enjoyable. So enjoy those 70-degree days and the 80-degree days of our springs. So you can have all of it here in San Antonio, Texas. Our fifth con would be the taxes. Our property taxes are high here in San Antonio at 2.8, 2.7, 2.3. That's substantially more than perhaps some of you are paying. But as we explained to the people that we talked to, this really isn't that bad. And I'll tell you why. We don't have a state income tax here. And those of you that do may be paying 7, 8, 9%, 9.5% in your state taxes. You also have to file an additional return for that if you want to either try to get your money back or support your deductions and not pay as much. Well, in San Antonio and in Texas as a whole, our money comes from property taxes. It takes care of our good schools here in San Antonio, and it takes care of our fire and ambulance and all the necessary things that we all need as citizens of our great country. Now, as you move along through there, you're going to think that this doesn't make any sense. And one thing that does is everybody pays. So you don't have people that aren't filing returns. You don't have people that are trying to, let's say, take advantage of the system. We don't have that. Everybody ends up paying a property tax. And people may say that the renters don't pay it. Well, actually they do. Because if you're a property owner and you're renting out the property, my guess is you're going to want to turn a profit. So if your taxes are 2.8% on that property, then you're going to add that into the rent. Does that make sense? Well, of course it does. So everybody who's got housing in San Antonio and in the state of Texas will pay taxes. So it's fair, it's equitable, and everybody does it. So if you want to be like everybody else, come on to Texas. Stop paying state income tax, enjoy what we have, and remember that this state is not in debt. We are in the black, and it's because of the way we treat our taxes. So we're all going to pay it, and we're all not going to be here in the future. So just enjoy the ride. It's a beautiful city to do that. But again, our taxes are all taken in property taxes. So when you see the breakdown of what you get in terms of services and what you pay for, I think you'll agree that this is a fair system of taxation, and just sit back, enjoy it, go to work and do the things you were here, enjoy your family, and that will take care of some of that initial pain. If you have questions on that, please feel free to give us a call, send us a text, or send us an email, and we'll give you some information on our tax situation here in Texas. And remember too, we're not CPAs. Our sixth con here in San Antonio, Texas, would be one of the wildlife. We have snakes. Rattlesnakes? Yes, we do. So that hot and sustained summer will give way to the rattlesnakes. If you're out there hiking or biking, you might want to be aware of that. And if you're walking especially, it doesn't hurt to put on a good pair of boots and protect your lower leg. So think about that. If you get off the trails and you're wandering through some of the areas that are naturally landscaped, you might want to be aware of these snakes in the summertime. We also have coral snakes. Those are also venomous snakes. So be aware of that. And also, we enjoy an oversupply of deer here in our city. The further out you go into the hill country, the greater and greater that possibility becomes. And remember too that with our growth, we have displaced these animals. We are building where they used to reside and they struggle. So you're going to see deer in your own neighborhood. You may see them run across the street. In fact, you may see them run right in front of you. And if that happens, you need to be aware that swerving, you've got other cars coming at you. You may just find that your best bet is to hit the poor animal. That's never pleasant, but it is a fact of life. You've got to be aware. Imagine the awareness that you must have to stay out of harm's way. There will be some challenges here. They're beautiful, gorgeous animals. Sometimes you can just sit there in your backyard, and if you've got an open fence or a wrought iron fence behind you, you can see them. You can see them wandering up and down the neighborhoods, and they're not going to look out for you, so you're going to have to look out for them. Nobody wants to hit any of those deer. And I know when you come to San Antonio, Texas, that will be one thing that you enjoy, is the wildlife that we have here. In addition to that, we've got your typical skunks and rats and perhaps cockroaches that people talk about. They are Texas size here. So get yourself a good exterminator and take care of your home. That's all it takes. They will keep them away, and they do understand when they miss, they're going to get a call and they'll be back. I would say our services here are quite good. They're dependable. And when you have an insect problem in your home, just get it treated. You'll be glad you did. If you've stuck with me this far, now it's time to enjoy some of the pros of living in San Antonio, Texas. I would say there's plenty to do here. Most of you may be familiar with our #1 tourist attraction, which would be the Riverwalk. It's a very enjoyable part of our city. The river flows through there. There are boats that you can take up and down the river. You can see the shops and the restaurants on both sides of the river, and people walking along there and sitting outside having their favorite beverage or having lunch or dinner. And it is a very, very beautiful area of our city. There's also plenty of shopping there. And from there you can go and walk from the Riverwalk on over to the Alamo and experience that. Plenty of Texas history there. If you're coming to Texas, you may want to pick up a book or two on some of the Texas history. Texans are very, very proud of their state, and they're proud of their heritage. So come and enjoy that. From there, you may want to head out to the San Antonio Zoo or the Botanical Gardens, which are close to the downtown area also. And as you move further out from town, we've got Six Flags, our amusement park here. Plenty of roller coasters, enjoyment for the kids and the whole family, and fireworks every night. The same thing can be said for SeaWorld. We've got the marine life down there, roller coasters, enjoyable days for the entire family. Grab your favorite beverage. You may want to take in a water slide or something of that nature. A lot of things to do here in the summer. If you'd like to enjoy some of the museums, our Whitty Museum is very, very popular and a great, great destination for various art and the like. We also have what's called the Doozeum, which is entertainment for the entire family. There are plenty of industrial and mechanical features in there where the kids and parents alike can have a great deal of fun. Experience the science and the math and the other incredible exhibits there in the museum. And after that, you could just run over to the zoo or the Botanical Gardens, as mentioned earlier. The Whitty Museum is where nature, science, and history meet. The museum has been recently renovated, and its draw is the Texas history. It encourages citizens of Texas to be great citizens and participate in its future. The second pro of San Antonio living is our amazing cuisine. We've got everything from Mexican food to Italian to Chinese to Japanese to sushi to Vietnamese to Brazilian and Cuban, Korean, and yes, we've got American food, hamburgers, steaks, and our own barbecue. So if you're looking for a great place to eat, there are plenty all the time. We've got our typical fast food places, plenty of pizza, plenty of hamburgers. There's local hamburger joints. There's places that have great entertainment. So whatever you're looking to do and whatever you're feeling hungry for, whether you're looking for something quick or a nice dinner out, you can find it here in San Antonio. Everything from the Riverwalk to the outskirts of some of the outlying towns of New Braunfels, Bernie, Cibolo, and Schertz. It's all right here for you. So if you like to eat, San Antonio will certainly be a welcome place to call home for you. Our third pro of the beautiful city of San Antonio are the parks. Did you know that there are 257 parks run by our city in San Antonio? Well, there are. And they're on over 15,000 acres of land. So when you think everything's big in Texas, we've got some huge parks here that are very enjoyable for you and your family. There's over 150 miles of trails through these parks. And it's a great place for you to take your family or to go out by yourself and gain some solitude. And you've got plenty to do. You can run, you can walk, you can hike, you can cycle if you've got a bike, and you can just enjoy the beautiful Texas area, stop for a picnic, and enjoy all of the sports your heart could desire on any of these parks. So there's plenty to do. Watch out for some of the other things that we talked about earlier, some of the wildlife. You're going to see things you never imagined. But it's a great, great place to spend some time on the weekends or after work in the summertime. And there's plenty of places to get some great exercise. The next pro in our city, I think, is the traffic. I mentioned that as a con with the road construction, but I'm going to tell you that if you'll just schedule your time, as I mentioned earlier, and leave 20 minutes early for anything you've got to do, there's no reason you can't get there on time. The traffic does move through San Antonio. Rarely are we stop and go here. You may slow down to 20 miles an hour, but you can see that if you'll use your GPS, if you'll just get in the habit of using that, plug your phone in so you know how long it's going to take you to get to your destination, and just take it easy. You don't need to get in a big rush. You don't need to tailgate the people in front of you. Just be courteous, leave early, and you'll get to your destination on time. I promise you that. That's a great tip. Stay away from the guys who are running just as hard as they can because they didn't leave early enough. And relax and enjoy yourself on our roadways. We've got some great roads and they're making them nicer. The highways I mentioned, from the two loops that we have, Highway 410 and 1604, and our north and south thoroughfares of Highway 281 and Interstate 35, those roads are in great shape. There's always going to be road construction with the growth we've had here. So just leave a little bit early and you'll get there on time and you'll have an enjoyable, smooth ride to wherever you're going in town. Pro number 5 in our great city would be the cost of living. It is very, very inexpensive to live here compared to other areas of the country. If you're looking at the Eastern Seaboard or the West Coast, our housing prices here are quite attractive. The median price of a home is around $330,000. Our gas prices are right at $2.90 a gallon as we record this video, up from about $1.50 a couple of years ago, but we are really in great shape. We've all seen the inflation at the grocery stores. That's no different here in San Antonio. But I can tell you that it's great to be able to go and fill up on gas and not pay $6 a gallon. So our cost of living is substantially less here than it is in some of the major cities around there. And if you didn't know, San Antonio is the 6th largest city in the country, and we've got housing prices between $330,000 for the medium price, on up to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $6 million, and there are ranches out there that will sell for $10 million. So you can get a lot for your money here in San Antonio, and that's one reason we've experienced the growth that we have over the last several years. Being able to work from home has allowed people to transfer to our city and experience the lower cost of living compared to where they come from. And we think that will happen with you as well. Pro number 6, we are Military City, USA. So if you're in the military and you're considering retiring here in San Antonio with so many of us military veterans, this is a great place. There is fabulous medical care. Here we have our own Veterans Hospital, the Audie B. Murphy Hospital. There are plenty of clinics throughout town, and you can probably select one nearby where you decide to live. The medical care is great. The veterans are here. You know, if you got caught on the side of the road, they'd be there to help you. And that's kind of a Texas thing. We're not afraid to stop, give somebody a helping hand. It's kind of the Texas way. And we like it that way. But the military have really supported us. They've done the job that many others can't, won't, or don't want to do. And they've given their lives, they've given all that they can give in our behalf to ensure our nation remains safe. And in San Antonio, we think that's pretty special. So among there, we've got military bases at Lackland Air Force Base, or the Joint Base as they're now being called, Randolph, Fort Sam, and Camp Bullis. So there are plenty of installations around. If you are military and you're retired military, commissaries around those bases might be another way for you to save some money and take advantage of some of the benefits that you've worked hard to earn. Also, don't forget about your VA loans here. This is a great place for veterans to buy homes, retire, and have the facilities they need. If PTSD is an issue that you have, there are trained medical staff throughout here that can really assist you. So come make San Antonio your home. I think you'd like it. Pro number 7, and that would be our medical facilities here in San Antonio. Did you know that the medical center that we have here does an incredible amount of research? It's through the University of Texas. Our medical research is second to none here and transfers throughout the country. It is a great place for not just medical, but dental. We have a dental school here as well. So if you're looking to further your medical career, this may be a great place for you. As I just mentioned, the military hospitals that we have are just amazing. I left out BAMC Medical Center, which is where it's actually the burn center for some of our veterans coming back from overseas. So they've got an incredible mission, and they take care of our vets. And when you get here, you can experience the wonderful medical treatment that we have. You may decide to make healthcare a career, or one of your children may decide to make healthcare their career. There's a great opportunity for them to be educated here, and I'd encourage you to talk to them about that. It might be a great way to expand our already great healthcare database and healthcare personnel base here in San Antonio. And the number 8 pro, I'm gonna take a shot at this one that was also a con, and that would be taxes. Yes, our property taxes are high, but if you look at our taxes, your federal income tax, the fact that the state is in the black and right side up, taxes, as much as they can be, are a positive thing here in Texas. No state income tax. As I mentioned before, we are going to pay through our property taxes. And it may take a while to get used to it, but I'm telling you, it is a great way to go. And overall, I can probably show you how your tax bill, if you're coming in from out of state, how your tax bill could be lower here in the state of Texas. And you'd have the facilities that you need, the schools to educate your children, private schools to educate your children. You'd have money left over, as our quality of life is certainly great here and far above other places in the country. And our last pro of moving to San Antonio would be our country music scene, our live music scene here in the city. Texans love their music, whether it's cowboy country or whether it's hip hop, blues, jazz, you name it, we have it all here, and plenty of live music. There are various country dance halls, so if you don't know how to two-step and you'd like to, you can certainly learn and do that almost every night here in San Antonio. There are plenty of places to dance. If you want to hear the hip-hop music or old-time rock and roll, we've got facilities just for you. There are restaurants and bars and nice nightclubs here where you can go and you can enjoy yourself. And it's just, be careful. You know, we want to make sure that we get you home safe, but we want you to have a good time while you're out too. So with that, those are the pros and cons of San Antonio, Texas. And if you've stuck around to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you something you probably didn't know. Did you know there are 8 four-year colleges and universities within a 50-mile radius of San Antonio? In there, you've got 4 junior colleges, and the University of Texas Health Science Center is one of our largest employers. So when you come to San Antonio, the opportunity to further your education is fabulous. There's something you didn't know. So if you're looking to move in 9 days or 90 days, send us a text, send us an email, give us a call, and look at that button right up there. Set up a Zoom call, hit the bell below so you can be notified of new videos that come out every week. And we'd love to talk to you and help you make that smooth move to San Antonio, Texas.